everyone. My name is Naomi Corona, and today I want to talk about something we have often walked past on without much thought: gravestones. Specifically, those belonging to Americans' fallen heroes. The markers aren't just stones, they're stories, pieces of history and reminders of sacrifices that others made for us. Over time, the graves have been through harsh weathers, cracked, and became nearly unreadable if not cared for. Now, the main question is, why should we care? We should care because cleaning and maintaining gravestones is more than preservation. It's about respect, the memory we hold of them, and keeping the history alive for future generations. The first person I interviewed is someone whose living is to go up and clean these gravestones, Mr. Eric Corona. Who am I speaking to, and what is your occupation?
My name is Eric Corona, and I am the owner and the founder of Never Forgotten Tombstone Restorations.
Why did you choose to go into this occupation?
I don't necessarily think it's something that I chose. I think it's something that chose me. We're all kind of looking for something to be able to add purpose to our lives. This one, to me, it's more of like an eraser. There's been a lot of things that I wish I could have changed when I was growing up, and things that I wish I could have done different. Maybe things that I wish would have made me a better person. Like it's a piece of paper that kind of scrunched up and ripped and torn, and it's kind of the past. And this kind of gives me a chance to be able to erase some of those things, at least for me. That'll make me a better person.
Perfect. That's really cool. Really admirable, too. Apart from size on gravestones, like the big ones and the super small ones, what's the difference between cleaning small and big graves?
So the one thing that you always want to do is you always want to make sure that you don't disturb or destroy the actual stone. So what you want to do is just get rid of the mold and the mildew that's on the outside. It's the breakup of just nature. So you want to make sure that you get rid of that. So it's just time and just patience. Whether it's a small tombstone or a big one, all that's going to be the difference is going to be either 5 minutes or 25 minutes.
Doing this job, what's the benefits of all this?
For me, it's mental space, mental clarity. Again, it's the ability of me going in and being able to do something for somebody else and know that I'm not going to get anything in return. It's when you help other people, there could be something inside that, is hoping to get something in return for it. But what am I going to get from the dead? Absolutely nothing. So it's, again, like I said, it's almost like an eraser. It's the idea of being able to go in to do something for someone that doesn't know it's being done. And I think it's the reward is internal.
Do you wish other people took time to care for their family graves so that people like you wouldn't need jobs like this or want jobs like this? Or do you wish to keep this job and just have more people help out?
I think it's a little bit of both. I don't necessarily wish that the kids right now would take care of the tombstones. I wish that the kids right now would look into being better parents, better human beings, so that their kids can take care of their tombstones. I feel that a lot of the job as a parent, especially in our older generation, including my parents, it got almost set in stone that you're supposed to be a certain way, or you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. And that's where generational trauma comes in. That's where family curses come in. Nobody's willing to make a change. And instead of having today's kids take care of those tombstones, I'd rather today's kids take care of their own kids so that their kids could take care of their tombstones.
When you're cleaning for fallen heroes, how do you feel in the back of your mind knowing that some of these people did horrible things, but others actually did do good things? How do you feel not knowing which one you're cleaning?
Most of the people that are fallen, most of the people that are buried are young kids who had no authority, nor do they have any command. Their decisions to go into war were not their own. Their decisions to fight for something were not their own battles. Maybe were even against their morals, and they went off and they did it anyways. Their sins will be for their maker to judge and not for me to judge. So I see it as you went out and you did a job that I couldn't do. Simply for that, I'm grateful.
That's really touching, and I think a lot of people should really consider that, especially the men of this country, where most of them don't go out to fight, but a lot of them do fight. So I think that's a good reminder for everyone. While on this job, you've seen smaller tombstones and huge ones with multiple generations of family in them. How does that make you feel knowing that some people have smaller ones than others?
Some people have money and some people plan for death. Mostly that's not something that we really worry about. Even within my parents, when I was growing up, they were very religious, but it was almost dark to talk about death, where culturally as Mexicans, we celebrate death. We celebrate the coming of the next life. I think that maybe we should be more in touch with that as people. And again, it comes down to money, and things are expensive. So being able to have a plot or an area where you're planned out to be buried, along with your family, I think that is a phenomenal idea, and I think it's something that should definitely be carried out. And as I'm saying it, it's something that's now on my bucket list to be able to make sure that regardless of what happens to me or any of us, being able to rest with each other forever, I think that's going to be amazing.
Thank you so much. If that is it, is there anything else you would like to add?
No, you've been an amazing interviewer. Thank you very much, and I wish you the best.
Thank you so much. That was Eric Corona, sharing why he personally takes the time to clean gravestones and what it means to him. His perspective on this shows us the care and respect that other individuals bring to this work. But what about the people who have been dealing with this for much longer? That's where my interview with Mr. Nathan Delaney, who works at Lone Mountain Cemetery, comes in. Disclaimer: Nate Delaney is voiced by someone named EC. It is his answers, but EC's voice. Thank you. Could you start by introducing yourself with your name and occupation, please?
Sure, my name is Nate Delaney, and I'm a Parks Coordinator with Carson City Parks, Recreation, and Open Space. I help organize and oversee all aspects of maintenance within the properties managed by our department. That includes mowing, aeration, fertilization, weed migration, pruning, planting, addressing safety concerns, and helping complete various projects in our parks. For cemetery duty specifically, I'm in charge of identifying and ensuring plot locations and boundaries are correct, as well as overseeing and opening and closing services for all burials.
And how long have you worked in this role?
I've been employed by Carson City for 6 years.
So, as I see it, Lone Mountain Cemetery is a really unique place. What makes it stand out compared to other cemeteries?
Lone Mountain is different from other cemeteries in the country because I consider it a true Wild West cemetery. When you think about the settlement of the American West, Carson City as an icon, we have no shortage of historic notables buried here. There are Nevada governors, dignitary, and legendary businessmen, authors, poets, and plenty of interesting people from Nevada's rich history. Originally, there were 7 separate cemeteries that were later combined into one cemetery. Known as Lone Mountain Cemetery in 1971, it is also a public cemetery operated by Carson City.
Do volunteer community members ever help with upkeeping or cleaning the graves?
Yes, we do get some volunteer help. The majority of the cemetery is dirt, which makes keeping weeds under control pretty challenging. We sometimes have individuals who come in and pull weeds, but our one large annual event is called More with the Mayor. That just took place this Saturday, and we have over 100 volunteers remove weeds for about 4 acres of the cemetery, which was amazing. We're always grateful for the extra help, weed removal, leaf removal, and general cleanup. Right now, we also have a group of volunteers from the Reno Synagogue who raise funds to restore some of the historic headstones in our Hebrew section. That kind of involvement really makes a difference.
That's honestly amazing to hear, and it's amazing how other people are willing to volunteer their time to help out with these people in cleaning the graves. Why do you think it's important to clean and maintain graves like these?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. It's important to maintain these graves. But I think it's important to because Lone Mountain is not an endowment cemetery. That means families don't pay ongoing fees for the upkeep. That way they might have a private cemetery. And once you purchase a plot here, it technically becomes your property and it's your responsibility to maintain it. But the reality is that families move away, grow too elderly, maintain their plots, or eventually pass away themselves. So as staff, we do as much maintenance as possible to protect and preserve the historic nature of the cemetery, but we're limited by our scope and work resources. Keeping the graves cared for honors the people buried here and preserves an important piece of history for the community.
Absolutely amazing. Based on your experience, would you say there's a lack of care when it comes to these tombstones?
In some cases, most definitely. Because of the way our cemetery is structured, some graves inevitably don't get as much attention as the others. Families who are still located often maintain their loved ones' plots, but when no one is around to do that, headstones can become overgrown or weathered. We try to step in as much as possible, but the workload is huge.
That's truly amazing and absolutely understandable. But what about the veteran graves? Do they receive different treatment?
The vast majority of our veterans are buried in the main lawn section of the cemetery. One service we try to do yearly, usually before Memorial Day and Veterans Day, is trimming the grass around the headstones. Turf grass grows pretty quickly. If it's left unchecked, it can completely cover a headstone in less than a year. We have 2,000 veterans and 1,000 non-veterans buried in those lawn sections when we trim, and we make sure every effort is to making sure those markers are not lost to the grass. Many families also actively visit and help keep their loved ones' graves mentioned, which is a big help to us.
That's amazing, and I hope a lot of people would take us in consideration and be more aware of where their loved ones are laid so they can start taking care of them more. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's it for now. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Gravestones may seem like small things in our busy world, but they hold enormous meaning than what people give them credit for. They connect us to the people who come before us, sharing stories of bravery and the closeness of communities that have been built because of these sacrifices. By taking the time to clean and care for them, we're showing respect and ensuring those names and legacies are not lost. Thank you for listening, and I hope this reminds you to look twice the next time you pass by a cemetery, for each stone has a story. This is Naomi Corona of the Reynolds School of Journalism, signing off.